I'm excited to speak to you today on 1111's comprehensive offering for protecting 365 data in the cloud. With over a decade of data protection leadership, 1111 provides your organization with extensive expertise and support, along with an award-winning interface for visibility and control of 365-based backups. And as your organization shifts further into the cloud, the ability to incorporate DR and production hosting into a single management experience. It's safe to say that few solutions in IT have had as massive of an adoption in the past 5 years as Microsoft 365. As of the time of this presentation, there are over 250 million 365 users, and with a global shift to a more distributed workforce, it's a safe bet that this number will continue to rise. And for good reason, Microsoft 365 has specifically provided organizations a powerful solution to a pervasive challenge. Every organization has email, file storage, and collaboration tool requirements, and most organizations would agree that this is one of the more cumbersome and unpleasant elements to manage on premises. Chances are, getting out of managing, maintaining, and supporting numerous underlying components is a driving factor in your organization adopting an as-a-service model to IT, whether it's infrastructure as a service, platform, or in the case of 365, software as a service, or SaaS. What can be surprising with a shift to SaaS is the shared responsibility model and what is on the customer. In fact, as many as 1 in 4 organizations surveyed believe that some form of data protection was included with Microsoft's 365 offering. It's critical your team understands their part of the shared responsibility model. As one of the largest and most experienced cloud service providers for data protection, we get to hear a lot from organizations on what threats they're looking to mitigate. By and large, these 4 account for most common reasons that you need to protect your 365 data. 1. Ransomware. 2. Compromised employees or credentials. 3. Accidental deletion. And 4. Hacking or phishing activities. Unfortunately, we aren't talking about hypotheticals. In many cases, data loss or disruption from one of these threats isn't an if, but when scenario. Surveys of IT organizations have shown that 74% of organizations reported one or more of these elements impacting their business. Those are pretty staggering numbers and certainly a great reason to investigate options for protecting 365 data for your company. We mentioned before that some organizations are unaware of their responsibilities with Microsoft 365's offering, or choose not to add protection. Unfortunately, this can lead to significant gaps in the ability to recover from threats we've mentioned, or even common business activities like hiring and firing of employees. In fact, without additional protection configured, for most actions in 365, the data is gone forever after just 14 to 30 days. The biggest challenge on all of this is that Microsoft is just offering retention, not backup, so organizations are truly one emptying of the recycle bin, corruption, or encryption event away from complete data loss. By now, it's clear that adding protection to 365 data is a must-have, so where can an organization start? A natural approach for many is investigating backup of 365 data to their local environment or setting up cloud storage for a do-it-yourself approach to protection. But with this option, there are a few key considerations. One of the first is to recall why their organization shifted to an as-a-service approach to 365 in the first place. And for many, the value was in getting out of the management, maintenance, and ongoing support of the numerous components for an on-premises collaboration app. Unfortunately, a do-it-yourself approach to protecting 365 data puts organizations right back with the overhead and complexity they looked to outsource in the first place. Compare that to a protection model like 1111's, which is managed end-to-end and only requires a subscription based on the number of licensed users you wish to protect, and the difference is night and day. So what do you get with a per-user model with 1111 Backup for 365? Automated, customizable protection for Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams with unlimited retention, meaning you can ensure recovery from short and long term. Unlimited storage, meaning no surprise costs or fees, and granular and flexible recovery options, all from the 1111 Cloud Console. Absolutely no hardware or software to manage or configure, just simple, predictable protection. Let's take a look at that protection and recovery provided by 1111 in a bit more detail. We've discussed that it's critical to have a blend of recent and historic retention of data to ensure you can restore your users from a variety of scenarios. Whether you're recovering from data loss and using the latest copy or rolling back due to corruption, encryption, or legal purposes, you can leverage the 1111 Cloud Console to effortlessly complete your task. And with unlimited retention, there's never a trade-off between having the data you need and added costs or fees. To use a cliche term, when it comes to recovery, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. With 1111 Backup for 365, an organization has full control on the granularity and behavior of recoveries, all through an intuitive interface. Here, an organization can determine if an entire user or individual items are needed for recovery, if recovery is needed to the original location in 365 or a different one, or if a downloadable format is needed. Comprehensive recovery regardless of the scenario. Successful data protection and recovery also means ensuring the right permissions for your users. With the 1111 Cloud Console, you can provide a variety of secure access and visibility options for protected users and organizations. This can be as simple as providing backup status views to a non-technical stakeholder or self-service restore options for IT staff and power users. Built-in reports and auditing ensures the user actions can be tracked and reported. And as with all features discussed, identity access management is built into the service at no additional cost. Speaking of cost, what does unlimited retention and restores mean for your bottom line? Quite simply, predictability. You can see on the screen a common example of a 365 backup customer's monthly cost. A flat line month-over-month as no amount of recovery, frequency of backup, or size of user accounts impacts your spend with 1111. Of course, as growth is a constant in IT, we make it easy for you to add additional users on demand or permanently to ensure you always have protection. Even with the ease of implementation, ongoing protection, and self-service restore options through the 1111 Cloud Console, we know that having a trusted partner to rely on each step of the way can be the difference between complete, successful data security and an ongoing headache. With this in mind, 1111 makes it easy for you to work with us each step along the way based on your own preferences. Whether it's engagement on chat, tickets, or speaking with one of our certified technicians on the phone, we're here for you. And while the time of day and time zone might change, the constant coverage from our award-winning team doesn't. With teams based in Australia, Europe, and North America, we have you covered. The only place you won't find our support team is on your bill, as support is included with the service. I'd like to thank you for joining us to discuss the importance of 365 data protection today. Like hundreds of millions of 365 users, your organization has a responsibility to ensure the resilience and accessibility of mission-critical Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams data. We've covered the consequences of doing nothing, the complexity of doing it yourself, and ultimately the success your organization will have working with the leader in cloud data protection, 1111.